Oh, another farmer in that find out stage we all love. Meet Jim Hartman, a honey farmer from North Carolina that was getting $150,000 a year in government contracts. But wait for it, the two other great kickers are Jim gets all of his packaging supplies from China. And can you guess where Jim's labor comes from? That's right, south of the border. But Jim couldn't help himself. Jim has now voted for Donald Trump 3 times. And when Jim hears Donald Trump's racism, he can't help but put himself in financial peril to go run and vote for Donald Trump a 3rd time. And as you can see from the headline of this article, the only thing that Mr. Hartman understands is, I lost $150,000. He doesn't care about how he's affected so many families in America, how innocent people are being deported and sent to El Salvador, or about how folks like him have ushered in an era of fascism in the United States. But Jim wants us all to feel sorry about him losing his grip on the teat of the American government. Jim, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, bud. Right? Not that hard.
Me and my family own a wheat farm in Kansas. We are all certainly lifelong Republicans, and we were so happy to vote for Trump in all 3 of his elections. However, we were certainly not aware that he was going to put a funding freeze on all USAID. 100% of our wheat produce is bought by USAID and shipped out of the country. So our farm is completely bankrupt. We have no customer. We had this whole deal with the US government, and now that is just gone. Maybe y'all saw the news out of Nebraska today. Apparently our entire state is going to go bankrupt in 2 quarters. Me and my husband owned a cattle ranch here, and I can confirm that all of the cattle ranchers here overwhelmingly voted for Trump. We support him. We voted for him. Something like 70% of our entire workforce is undocumented immigrants, and they straight up are not showing up for work anymore. They have all either fled the country, fled the state. They don't want to get raided while at work, so they have just moved on to work somewhere else. And straight up, we are going to go bankrupt now. We are going to go bankrupt, and yeah, we voted. We knew that the immigrants would get deported and he was coming after immigrants, yet we still voted for it. Overwhelmingly voted for our own demise. I was talking to my husband last night, and I have to admit that it seems a bit foolish now when you think about it like that we voted for something that is now putting us directly out of business.
The American farmer, salt of the earth, backbone of the nation, they voted red, they cheered for tariffs, and they trusted the plan. And now they are losing their farms. But I guess they still have their red hats, right? See, when you slap tariffs on global trade, other countries don't just say thank you. They clap back. And now we've got soybeans rotting, exports tanked, and guess who's got left holding the bag? Spoiler, it's not the billionaires. But hey, freedom isn't free, right? Because, sometimes it could cost you your entire livelihood, or maybe 3 generations of your entire farmland. Anyways, thank you for tapping into this video when you saw it. Please like the video and share your comments in the comment section. Also, subscribe if you haven't already, and credit to all creators on this video. Thank you. Let's keep watching.
We have some big news right now. Donald Trump's tariffs on China are impacting farmers the most, and many of them have buyer's remorse for even voting for Donald Trump in the first place. One of the top products that is tariffed is the U.S. soybean, and U.S. soybean exports, according to CNN, are now subject to a total tariff of 135% because of the 10% tariff imposed in March, along with the 125% tariff announced last week. If you recall, back in 2018, the winner of the first U.S.-China trade war wasn't U.S. farmers, but rather Brazil, because Brazil became the world's leading soybean exporter. And since then, exports to China have grown 280%, while U.S. exports have remained flat. Many soybean farmers in the Midwest actually voted for Donald Trump. They come from states that are red states that voted for Donald Trump consistently, both in 2016 and in 2024. And Trump had long promised exemptions or support for farmers, but they haven't received any bailouts just yet. And some are now even having buyer's remorse because their businesses are going to suffer because they can't export the number of soybeans that they were before.
So we're shutting down our market farm. We've officially decided to close the doors to our farm store and market farm. We just notified all of our customers yesterday.
Well, my friends, our farmers are in full-blown crisis, and it's not because of Mother Nature. It's because of Donald Trump's reckless tariffs that have torched decades of trade relationships and handed America's agriculture future to China and Brazil on a silver platter. 12,000 tons of pork canceled. Soybean exports collapsed, and family farms are now shutting down. And it doesn't stop there. Longshoremen, truckers, warehouse workers, entire communities are being gutted. This didn't have to happen, but Trump wanted a trade war. He wanted headlines, and now our farmers are paying the price while China laughs its way to the Brazilian soybean fields. And to make it worse, farmers who sign contracts with their own government, they're being stiffed, left holding the bag. So let me be clear. I will fight like hell to rebuild our rural economy, restore fair trade, and make sure American farmers never again become pawns in a MAGA publicity stunt. This district deserves better. America deserves better. Are you ready to fight back?
China is making this man look like the fool that he is. So let me get this straight. He started a tariff war, which is costing us billions of dollars, and now we're going to have to pay to bail out the farmers? It's not that I don't think farmers should be bailed out, but that means he's losing us money on the front end, and then we're having to pay money on the back end just to cover up for the shortage that he himself created. By the way, bailouts are socialism.
Hey everyone, I have some late breaking news. China now gets all its soybeans from Brazil because of Donald Trump's tariffs. So you got to think, how much money did the United States lose over this? How much taxable income did the United States lose? So now Brazil is China's #1 importer for these soybeans. They're getting it all from Brazil. So how do you think this is hurting the American people? Because of Donald Trump's tariffs, China does not rely on the United States for this product. So basically, the farmers are losing, and the workers and everyone else involved in the soybean industry, which is also people who deliver it, transport it. So it's a big chain, and they're all losing. So Mr. Trump, I bet Brazil is absolutely thankful for what you did.
I'm a soybean farmer that voted for Trump, and I'm begging him to stop this trade war. Oh, look at you. You're so different. You're so strong. You're so brave. See, you're like a 10th generation soybean farmer, and apparently the president of the American Soybean Farmers Association. You know that last time he was in office, soybean farmers lost $20 billion because of his tariffs. And our tax money had to bail you out. And you fucking voted for him again. And now you're like, oh, I'm begging him, please stop. This was in Project 2025. Hello? So fucking tired of you people. I saw a video of the cheese lady, the cheese slice lady. I saw a video of her at a store pointing to cheese and saying, haha, see, some of us can laugh at ourselves. Fuck you. Right. Fucking glaring red flags. You ignored all of it. And now you're like, I'm a soybean farmer and I'm begging him, please stop doing exactly what you said you were gonna fucking do. Oh, I'm the cheese lady. See, I can laugh at myself. Obviously, I got tricked, but I can laugh at myself. There are people whose lives have truly, truly been impacted by his fucking whims. Cheese lady, we don't need you to laugh at yourself. We need you to fucking apologize. You know what, soybean farmer? We need you to say, I am such an asshole. It was crystal clear. He said, I'm going to do this to you. Now I'm like, fucking apologize to the whole country.
Maine farmers are fed up with the Trump administration and went to Augusta on Wednesday to protest the funding cuts and unpredictability that his USDA is causing for these farms. 150 farmers and supporters protested outside the state capitol, driving tractors and livestock trailers and carrying signs to draw attention to how President Trump is hurting Maine farms. We've told you before about how Trump's USDA has broken signed contracts that it had with farmers across the country, leaving those farms on the hook for thousands, often tens of thousands of dollars in costs that were supposed to be reimbursed. We've also told you about how the Trump USDA shut down the programs that helped Maine schools and food banks purchase food from local farmers. A lot of Maine farms were already struggling. These cuts from the Trump administration are making it harder for them to survive. A farmer from Monmouth who attended the protests asked, "Who is this working for? Not working people, not farmers."
So I definitely voted for Trump, and I just wanted to throw a key point, and it's not, it doesn't even have anything to do with the prove me wrong, Trump is terrible for America. But the point is, the people that voted for Trump is because we wanted everything to happen that's happening to happen. Like, we didn't vote for Trump and be like, oh, Trump's not going to break any laws. Like, everybody that voted, we knew that he wasn't going to follow the Constitution.
Yeah.
We didn't care.
Yeah, I have a feeling
so that's the point. We wanted change so bad that we didn't give a crap what the cost was.
Yeah, I have a feeling that you're going to leave before I could rebuttal your view, right?
Oh, no, you can.
You're going to stay up here for a conversation?
Yeah, sure.
Why do you do that to yourself?
I know. I don't know.
Why, like, no, seriously, why do you do that to yourself? Like, you're literally telling me that, oh, yeah, you want a constitutional crisis, you want something that stands in opposition to what American values have been since the conception of our country, you want a criminal, you want a violent offender, so then how about you stop fucking virtue signaling about caring about those things as it would apply to individuals outside of Trump? Because it is y'all that have been saying, screaming at the top of your lungs, back the blue, support law and order, but then you say that you want the criminal, you want the felon, you want the person that's going to pardon violent January 6 rioters that drove stun guns into the necks of cops on January 6. I understand that you're on this live saying that those are things that you wanted, so then stop fucking acting like you don't want them as it would apply to migrants. Stop acting like you don't want them as it would apply to women. Stop acting like you don't want them as it would apply to literally any fucking demographic outside of really rich and really orange old white guys.
Oh no, I actually agree with you. That's the problem. Like, it's contradictory. So I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that the Democrats are wrong, or I'm not saying that your point of view is wrong at all whatsoever. I'm just saying that we knew what we voted for. So, like, even for you to sit there and argue with half the people that voted for Trump, it's pointless because they know what they voted for too, and they don't care. Not trying to say that, what you're saying isn't important and doesn't matter, but what I am saying is that to most of those people, what you are trying to say and preach, it won't matter. Same as vice versa.
Oh, I have a feeling like you didn't actually vote for Trump.
I really did.
Okay, so you're just like fucking evil?
No,
do you like self-label as a Grinch?
No.
So you're just telling me that you voted for a bunch of bad things and you don't care and you acknowledge that it's contradictory. Tell me why you're a valuable individual in the voter base.
I was in the military. That's about it. That's all I'm good for. So, I served. That's about it.
What did you serve for?
31 kilo military working dog handler in the Army.
No, I know. Like, why did you want to serve?
Well, originally when I had went in, it was because I wanted to fast track my career in criminal justice, and then I found out that the government pretty much just does whatever they want with you, and you are their property once you join. So, that career.
Wait, when you entered into the military, didn't you take an oath to protect the Constitution?
I absolutely did.
Did you break that oath by voting for Trump via your own self-admission that he has violated the Constitution and you don't care?
Well, I was out by then.
Would you say that if you were still in the military, you would have... Well, you violated an oath that you'd taken before.
Yeah, that would be correct. Yeah, sure.
Do you self-label as an attention seeker?
Absolutely.
My concern is I'm here talking to Pennsylvania farmers, and they're a crop away from bankruptcy. They're a crop away from losing their farms. And we know from the first time around when President Trump put really modest tariffs compared to this on our farmers, they lost $27 billion. Farms had to shut down. I'm worried that they're going to be harmed again, that the impact is going to be devastation for Pennsylvania farmers. That's what I'm concerned about. That's why we're going to do everything at the state level we can to invest in our farmers, as opposed to taking market share and money away from them, as the Trump administration is doing. I'm not sure why the Trump administration is looking to screw over our farmers. We have their backs, and we're going to protect.
Upstate New York farmers shocked by Trump's tariffs mistakenly thought Canada would pay. It's not a mistake, it's that they believed the lie by the president. This $2,200 in extra feed costs, that's because Trump lied and said someone else was going to pay it. But what do we do from here? Trump was so bad for agriculture last time that he had to bail the farmers out with our tax dollars. So we're just doing it all again. What do we do from here?
Well, it's happened. The tariffs are now hitting American farmers, and they are making TikTok videos left, right, and center complaining about the costs of actually running their farms. You got to watch this.
I called 2 weeks ago to get a quote on these fiberglass steaks because we need some more steaks this year. I got a quote, 83 cents. I called the man this morning. I said, hey, I know these tariffs are crazy and everything going on. I said, what can you do me on those fiberglass steaks now if we needed a load? It's a 3-month ETA from time you place the order. He said, Taylor, he said, you don't want to hear this price and I'm about to give you. And I said, well, give it to me anyways. He said, each of those steaks now is going to be $1.74 a piece. I said, well, you know, and I know both that we can't do that, and that's going to be impossible. Just to let you know a little bit of what we're going through out here on our farm and what farmers in general are going through. These tariffs, not the best thing for our country. I voted for Trump.
We're going to take in hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs, and we're going to become so rich, you're not going to know where to spend all that money, I'm telling you.
These tariffs have hurt our farmers in rural areas in ways that you cannot make up for. When you put a tariff on and it's so extreme and it's so shocking, and then you walk it back, their suppliers, their customers, and people they import and export to and from, they've already had to find different alternatives.
The tariffs are going to be the greatest thing we've ever done as a country.